this is Months and Months in Music, and we're going to talk about how you play a song called Girl in a Country Song. And this is a little weird, actually. We'll end up capoing on 1st fret to kind of match the recording. In the video, you'll see a capo on 3rd fret in the intro. I think they may be tuning that guitar down a whole step and then putting the capo on 3. But we're just going to work the standard tuning, capo on 1st fret. We'll walk through a couple things in root position just in case you don't have a capo. And it does have this cool little banjo lick at the very beginning. If you want to match those notes with the guitar, you can start open D, 3rd fret on the B string, 2nd fret on the G string, and then 1st fret on the B string, and then slide to 3rd fret, and then we go back to 2nd on the G string, 1st fret on the B, and then open G. So if you want to kind of match those, that lick, that could be a cool way to kind of intro the tune. It's kind of that 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, So kind of a D, D, A, C, D, A, C, G. And the chords that back that up on our intro start on a D major chord. And normally you do this 1st finger on the G 2nd fret, 2nd finger on the high E 2nd fret, and 3rd finger on the B string 3rd fret. And if you strum the D string to the high E string, that sounds a D major chord, and it sounds really happy. Now, round Ds in general, though, you may want to lift off the 2nd finger, make that a D suspended 2nd, or you could add in the pinky on the high E 3rd for the D suspended chord and kind of say some things around the D chord. And then from the D, we'd be going to a G major chord. And normally you do this 1st finger on the A 2nd, 2nd finger on the low E 3rd, 3rd finger on the high E 3rd. And if you strum all those together, that sounds a G major chord, and it sounds really, really happy. Now, another way to do the G would be putting the 3rd finger on the B 3rd, pinky on the high E 3rd. And that may facilitate that change from the D to the G for you, kind of leaving the 3rd finger down on the B string between those chords. And there's a couple different strumming options you may want to use through the tune. You could kind of work it as just a down feel, kind of D, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, G, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'm doing kind of a down count of 8 and kind of adding in a little bit of muting with the right hand. So I'm taking the flat of my right hand and kind of laying it down on top of the saddle. So you can kind of dig on working it that way. Or especially if you're supporting your voice, actually you could use a strum pattern. And one of my favorite strum patterns for a 4/4 like this is down, down, up, down, up. So we took the D and just tried that a lot. You know, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. It would be kind of a slow pace for the tune. So you got the D, da, 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 G, down, up, down, up, D, da, 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 G. Or what it really kind of sounds like through the tune is something called the 16th note strum pattern. And what I mean by that is if you're tapping your foot to the beat, right now we're dividing that beat into 2 parts with our down, down, up, down, up. 1, 2, 1, 2, and that's called an 8th note. What a 16th note is where you divide that into 4 parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And one of my favorite 16th note strum patterns is a long down, 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 up, down, 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 up. And what I mean by that is if you take the D and do it down for 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's what you'd be doing on the 1st beat. Then on the 2nd beat, you'd be doing a down on 1, down on 3, up on 4. So we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up. Then on the 3rd beat, you do a up on 2, down on 3. So we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, up, down, 1, up, down, 1, up, down. And then on the last beat, you're going down, up, right along with the 1, 2, 3, 4. So down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. So all together, you got down, 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 up, down, down, up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, down, up, down, up. So we tried that through our intro. We have our D, G, then we'll be going into our verse. And our verse kind of keeps that idea going until we get to an A major chord. And normally you play this 1st finger on the D 2nd, 2nd finger on the G 2nd, and 3rd finger on the B 3rd, or 2nd finger, or 2nd fret. Kind of big party on the 2nd fret, y'all. D, G, and B string. And if you strum all those together, it sounds like an A major chord. It sounds really happy. Now on A's in general though, you could kind of lift the 3rd finger, make that an A suspended 2nd, or you could add in the pinky on the B string 3rd, make it an A suspended chord, and kind of work that sounds around another option would be doing some kind of A7 sus. And this might make that change a little easier. So you can do first finger on the D second, second finger on the G second, third finger on the B third, pinky on the high E third. Definitely sounds slightly unresolved. But the cool thing is that third finger's in the same place from the D to the G to the A7 sus. So we kind of dig on that. And we kind of have a big G hit at the very end of our first verse. And then we go into our chorus, which is kind of a variation of that. And we'll basically be repeating those parts with some variations we'll talk about until we get to the bridge part. And on the bridge part, it kind of starts off with almost kind of like a four, or working the down hit idea. Actually, kind of the D, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, D, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we go to a C chord. And then we play C major. First finger goes to the B on the first fret, second finger on the D second fret, third finger on the A third fret. And if you strum the A string to the high E string, that sounds a C major chord, and it sounds really, really happy. Now randomly, around C chords in general, it can be kind of cool to lift the first finger, make that a C major 7, or you could put the pinky in on the B third, kind of make it a C major 9, or if you're digging on that other G voicing in the A7 sus, you can do a C major 9 a different way, and do first finger on the D second, second finger on the A third, third finger on the B third, pinky on the high E third. You can kind of work that for the C, and then we go back to our D for 8, and then we do 3 on the D, and then hit a big G chord at the end. So through that whole bridge part, you have kind of D, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, D, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, C for 2, D, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, D, 2, 3, G. Kind of working just a down idea. And then from there, we'll be going into our last chorus, which has the coolest bass lick variation, actually. We kind of start off with just our D chord and our G chord. But on that next D chord in the chorus, in that last chorus, you'll hear this cool little bass line where you can play open D, third on the A, third on the low E, first fret on the low E, third fret on the low E, first fret on the low E, open E, and then you could go to first fret on the D string for an E flat note, or you could even make that 6th fret on the A string for an E flat note. So you may want to kind of follow that, and you could do that a couple different ways actually if you want to do that hit. Now, randomly, if you're playing this out, you could completely ignore that hit and just keep on doing the D's and G's, and I think you'd be fine. But what could be cool is to back that up as almost like a power chord lick. And you could even start 5th fret on the A string for the D note, work first finger on the A, 5th fret, third finger on the D7 for a D5, and then take that shape and slide it down 2 frets for a C5, and then we go take that same shape and then go to the low E on the third finger on the A 5th for a G5. We can take that shape and slide it down 2 frets for an F5, and then we go back to our G5, back to our F5, and then we can go to the open E with the second on the A for an E5 power chord, and then we can go to 6th fret on the A, 3rd finger on the D string, 8th, kind of work just the A and the D strings for an E flat 5. So you could kind of work that hit if you kind of dig on that, kind of the D, C, G, F, G, F, E, E flat is kind of a power chord idea. It's kind of starting on that D chord. Or you can even make it even bigger by using bigger chords. So you can do the D chord to a C chord to our G chord, and then for the F note you back it up with an F major chord. And normally you do this as a 1st fret bar, 2nd finger on the G second, 3rd finger on the A third, pinky on the D third. If you strum all those together, that sounds an F major bar chord. It sounds really, really happy. A good variation of that if you're just starting out, but we do 1st finger on the B first, 2nd finger on the G second, 3rd finger on the D third. If you strum the D string to the high E string, that sounds an F major 7, which can be cool for that hit. And then for the E note, you may want to back up with an E minor chord by doing 1st finger on the A second, 2nd finger on the D second. Kind of dig on that. Or on E minors in general, you can even add 3 in on the B string 3rd, pinky on the high E 3rd. Kind of work that for the E minor. And then from the E minor, we'd be going back to our G, or actually from the E, we're going to the E flat. And normally you do this as a 6th fret bar, 3rd finger of the D, G, and B 8th. It's kind of an E flat major, kind of dig on that. Or an easier E flat if you're just starting out. We'll be doing kind of a D shape, but on the wrong frets. But doing 1st finger on the G 3rd, 2nd finger on the high E 3rd, 3rd finger on the B 4th fret. And if you strum just the G, B, and E, that sounds an E flat major chord. So when we get to that part, actually you could kind of back it up a couple of those ways. So you could work kind of that D, G, or C, G, F, G, F, E minor, E flat. If you want to kind of make that kind of a big hit through that. So you have D, G, and kind of start that lick. D, C, G, F, G, F, E minor, E flat, and then the D, G, look at A, G, and on that last G it's kind of a 3 down. G, 1, 2, 3, and you may want to kind of kill the strings before we go into our outro. Now the weird part is to play along with the recording, instead of starting on a D chord, it sounds like they're starting on an E flat major chord. So to play along with the recording, what you want to do is take a capo, and you put the capo on 1st fret. Now your D is really an E flat major, and your G is really an A flat major, and the A major is really a B flat major, and C major is really a D flat major, and F is really a G flat major, and E minor is really an F minor, and the E flat is really an E major chord. But to take it from the very beginning, you may want to kind of kick it off with that lick. That 0, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, open G. Might be kind of a cool way to kick it off. 0, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 0. Or you could use any of those strumming options through. So you could try the D with the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, G, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, D, G. Or something else though. You could do the down, down, up, down, up. And have the D, down, up, down, up, G, down, up, down, up, D, down, up, down, up, G, down, up, down, up. Or if you're doing it on the 16th, you have D, G, D, G. Or something else that you may want to play around with is adding basses. And a lot of times on that D chord, you can do the D string for your bass, and then kind of carry that through the strum pattern. So on the D, you'd have the D for the bass. On the G, you'd have low E for the bass. On the A, you'd have the A for the bass. On the F bar, you'd have low E for the bass. On the F major 7, you'd have the D for the bass. On the C, you'd have the A for the bass. On the E minor, you'd have low E for the bass. On the E flat, you'd be working your A string for the bass if you're doing the bar. Or you could be working the kind of fake it on the G string if you kind of wanted to work it that way. And I know randomly over half of these chords are actually for that one silly cool measure, but it's so cool. I just had to talk about it. So we could try that intro with a bass down, up, down, up. Have D with the D bass, G with the low E bass, D with the D bass, G with the low E bass. Or if you're digging on the 16th, you could add basses to that. Work it as a bass, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, or a bass, bass, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, or a bass, bass, down, down, up, bass, down, up, down. So we tried it that way. You got the D, G, D, G, and then from that intro, that'll be into our first verse. So you could really try that with any of those options we're talking about. D, G, D, G, G. 3 times you kind of hear the band kind of kick it in. Into our first chorus, or that any of those ways too. It's that D, G, D, G, last G, you may want to do a bass, down, up, and kill the strings. Or if you're doing the 16th, you could work a bass, down, up, and then kind of kill the strings. So I'm just taking my right hand, just kind of throwing it at the strings to kind of get that sound, kind of punctuation at the end of the chorus. And then from there, then we go into a little piece of our intro. So kind of back to our D, G. And then from there, then we go into our second verse. And on the last G of the second verse, actually, it's kind of a halving idea too. So on the very last G, if you're doing the down, up, down, up, you'd work just a bass down up on that G before you go into the chorus. Or if you're doing the 16th, you could work the bass down, up, and then go straight into the chorus. So it's a little weird that last G kind of, it's kind of a halving thing. So we have the D, G, D, G. If you're doing on the 16th, D, G, and A, and then the half G, G. But then you don't kill it, you just go straight into the chorus. So we can try going right into that chorus. We have the D, then we'll be going into our last chorus part. So we have our D, G, and we kind of have that crazy chord there. 3, 3, 1, 3, 1, 0, 1. If you kind of just want to follow just the bass notes. Or if you're digging on the power chord idea, you have the D, before you jump back into the D chord. Or if you're digging on working the bigger chords, actually, this can make this really thick if you dig on this. And you can even add basses to this, actually, especially if you're digging on the 16th. You can almost work it as kind of a bass down up on each chord. Kind of bass down up on the C, C bass, down up G bass, down up F bass, down G bass, down up F bass, down up E minor bass, down up E flat bass, down up. I know that's really quick, but it'd be very cool too. D, G, kind of hit that lick. D, C, G, F, G, F, E minor, E flat, before we get up on the D, G, and then A, G, then we backtrack to our A, and then we got kind of our G with 1, 2, 3, and then kind of kill it before we go into our outro part, which kind of starts off with our intro, then you kind of hear where you just kind of even it out on the D chord. So D, G, D, G, D, and we stay on D, or D, and then big D, right at the very, very end. But that's the basics of how you can strum through Girl in a Country Song. So good luck.